Sure. Well, we're an 8-year-old company. We're focused in the space of data encryption. We started in the United States in 2001. We started right after 9/11, and it may sound odd, but somewhat fortuitous that time was a good time for us to start because security became front of mind for a lot of enterprises. Prior to that, they were just thinking about antivirus and data intrusion. All of a sudden, the importance and necessity to protect your data became front of mind for a lot of folks. So we've got about 100 employees. We're spread across the United States and in Europe, and we've been growing pretty nicely. I'm actually one of the co-founders of Credant as well. I've been with them since the beginning, and I am based in the United States. From an operational standpoint, I'm responsible for our end-user customer support. One of the reasons that we're over here this week is to expand our European customer support base. As we ramp up our European customer base, there's going to be a need to support those customers, and so we've been getting our new partner online to handle that aspect for us, so we're very excited about that as well. Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, at a show like this, there's a lot of information, a lot of companies out there trying to get their message across. What I'm finding, or what we're finding from people coming by, is there's no clear message from a lot of our competitors. Fundamentally, when they ask us what we do, we talk to them about data. Data is the lifeblood of any company. It's really the lifeblood of anybody. It's your information, whether it's personal, business, financial. And so the message that is resonating with people that when we talk to them is we protect their data. Our tagline is we protect what matters. Well, at the end of the day, what really matters in an enterprise or from a consumer level is your data. That data could be social security numbers, bank accounts, corporate financial, healthcare records, etc. And that, again, that's what's resonating with the folks that are coming by and talking with us. Again, great question, and it's a little bit difficult to say sets us fully apart from, because you've got people here focused on firewalls, you've got people here focused on DLP. From the aspect of data encryption, again, what we do is if you look at a full disk encryption vendor, they're encrypting the entire device. While it may be unfortunate if you lose a $300 device, being a smartphone, what's really important is the data that resides on that device. So what sets us apart is we are data centric. We're focused on that data. We allow an enterprise to determine who has access to data, what data is encrypted, when it's encrypted, and we're not reliant on encrypting the entire operating system, which has a huge operational impact to the end user. If you also look at a file-based folder or a file folder-based encryption solution, that's really dependent on user behavior. Is that user going to put that piece of data that needs to be encrypted and secure in the right folder? With us, you've got the ability to manage that, set policies, set up work groups, determine who has access to different parts of the data within an enterprise. We've got customers that are 100 employees. We've got some customers with 60,000 users. If you can imagine the burden on an IT department to try and deploy the solution across 60,000 end users, that would be an incredibly cumbersome and time-consuming task. With us, you can deploy the Shield across a variety of users without ever touching a machine. And so there's a lot of benefit to that. The IT administrator has the ability, again, to set this up and do workflows, roll out the product, whether it's maybe the executive team first, maybe it's the accounting organization, and again, you can determine once it's been downloaded who's on the network, who's secure, who's not, who has access. And again, from an operational standpoint, the IT administrator or the policy administrator can roll that out very, very seamlessly. Well, that's a great point too. It's incredibly frustrating. Obviously, if you're one of those people whose records are impacted by the company where they had the data breach, you're going to have a lot of concern. It is nice that you never hear about a company having a data breach that had the Credant solution. That's a great proof point for us. But it's a good selling point. Anytime an organization has some sort of a data breach, that's just one more reason why companies need to be thinking about encrypting and ensuring that the data in their enterprise is secure. Back in the United States, if you look at the VA, you had 26 million records that were breached. If you look at some of the financial institutions, you've got hundreds of thousands of bank accounts and end-user records that are being breached. That is just more and more reason, not just from a compliance standpoint, but more and more reason why companies can't be too careful when ensuring that their data is secure. I believe that the field of security is still very new. There's a lot of players out there, as we mentioned. A lot of people, if you look at some of the larger antivirus players that are out there, they're making acquisitions trying to get a full disk encryption product or some sort of encryption solution to add to their quiver. I think this space is still very ripe for opportunity. Again, the one message that I've just got to focus on is data. How do you protect your data? There's going to be multiple ways in which people are going to want to try and breach your data. There's multiple ways in which people can get access to environments. Kind of a simple example, I just watched the James Bond movie Quantum of Solace, and I don't remember the villain's name, but his whole focus was getting access to the world's water supply because he was going to control the world. If you think about it, the next big piece of content that people need to be concerned about is data. Everything is data. Imagine what's out there in all the cloud computing, social networking, all the data that resides within these environments. It's tremendous. Imagine the damage that can be done. So I don't know that that's where things are shifting. Likelihood, if you look where data resides, you've got to believe that somewhere in a dark garage or in somebody's college dorm room, they're thinking of a way to get access to that data and that content. And being a data security company, which is what we focus on, you know, maybe we're the right people to be migrating towards that space. Good question. Number one, what we want to do is really want to expand our partnership. Obviously, that's from the standpoint of resellers and distributors, but also technology partners. Who's going to help us take the solution that we've got, access their customer base, and maybe some of the technology and innovation that they're working on within their environment. So the partnership and business development relationships are very, very important to us this year. Obviously, as we look at how we can take our solution, add in the management layer. When you look at an enterprise, you've got antivirus, data leakage protection, you've got a lot of disparate security solutions. How do you manage that? How do you manage all your policies across multiple disparate security solutions? So the management layer is something that we're very focused on as well.